Why can't we have better isekai anime? There's so much of it, yet most of the stories we've gotten in the genre are more comparable with the slab of rotten meat than a good or at least edible piece of food. There obviously must be a market for it, just look at how good shows like SAO are still doing or the amount of success other isekai anime, manga, and light novels have had. Point is, people want these in another world stories no matter how much they might rag on it sometimes for being generic and overdone. That's why they always flock to new isekai anime that comes around and does things in a semi-new interesting way or doesn't feel like the most bare bones, boring, trashy, generic thing ever. One of the more recent examples being How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. This being an anime that does absolutely nothing special. The animation is just okay, it has cool moments, but other than that it isn't anything remarkable to the point of watching the show simply for that. The main character isn't totally insufferable like some of these guys, but he still isn't anything new. He has this thing where he has trouble talking to people, especially girls, this being a trait that while used a lot can be interesting. However, they don't really take this anywhere but internal monologues when he's putting on the persona of some badass demon lord, mainly kicking it to the side for the majority of the time to instead focus on withholding his outward shell of a strong person to the other characters in the story. Speaking of other characters, it's mostly if not all more of the same tropes always used in anime. Here we have the tsundere, here we have the dumb girl with big tits. These are the other two main characters in How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. They're mostly used as tools to make the main character look good or get hard. No, seriously. The two do have their own problems though, which can help put them over at least some of the other trashy anime girls I've seen in my most hated isekai anime, but in the end they're just more of the same old same old. As for the setting, it feels less bland and more alive than some of the other isekai anime I've seen, but that's just it.
You're serious?
A total blank.
Like memory loss?
Right, that's
Don't
it.
screw with me.
As I said earlier, this anime simply doesn't do anything special. It's average at best. But now what if I told you it's one of the more popular anime airing this season? What would you think? There's no real secret to this other than it's not a terrible isekai anime. People are so starved for this stuff that when the product is at the very least subpar, they gladly go diving in to enjoy themselves. I myself have actually had fun watching How Not to Summon a Demon Lord for that simple fact alone. It's not bad. We, or at least I think we see it this way because a lot of the time isekai anime just aren't that good. Almost every season there's the isekai anime that's so bad that you even begin to question how it's possible to think up and make something like it. The craziest, or maybe I should say saddest part about this is that sometimes when these authors try to give their own unique trait to the story, character, or dynamic of their isekai series, it's just the dumbest change imaginable. For example, the anime In Another World with My Smartphone. Yes, you heard that right. It's a story about this kid that dies and gets sent to another world with the item of his choice. As you can probably guess, that choice was his damn phone. This is the isekai anime that not only had me angry upon watching the show, but also made me really question how it was possible an anime with the premise as stupid as that one was even thought up. The fact that the author's lack of imagination was so non-existent that the only twist he could add to the In Another World concept was giving a smartphone to his dumbass of an MC made it quite the egregious sight to me. Which is why I was even more dumbfounded and livid when I saw there was another isekai anime in the season that also focused around another MC that was taking over another goddamn world with a stupid phone. Why light novels and anime? Why? Why must you keep creating putting these dumb anime on TV? I don't know what's so marketable about it.
How they marketed? How they marketed? How they marketed?
I don't really know why I put this Digibro reference in the video back then. I guess I thought it was funny because of the meme he created around it at the time. I just felt like I had to say that. Hope you're enjoying the video though!
How they marketed? How they marketed?
On a more lighter note, since I've mostly been focusing on the more questionable aspects of isekai and anime, and while we might still keep our eyes on them, I want to instead focus on one of the more better series to come out of the genre, Re:Zero. Re:Zero was quite the experience for me. Seeing the ways in which it could be valiant and cool, to fun and energetic, and even sad and horrific made it feel like the coolest thing ever to me as someone who was just getting into anime. By the end of its run, I was even able to call it my absolute favorite for around about a year or so. The reason I didn't keep it as my indisputable favorite, however, wasn't because I found something else to love, but because I became a more experienced anime watcher and didn't know some of the things I found cool when I first watched it would still appeal to me. I was also able to see that it had a lot of the same cliches isekai anime have now. A protagonist that was taken from a shitty life to another world, an almost all female supporting cast, and no real goal in the story. All of those reasons made me concerned about just how I'd feel after rewatching it a couple months back. To my surprise, I still ended up loving it. Re:Zero, as I said, had a lot of the norm when it came to the isekai genre, but it also had a great amount of new and interesting additions. Whereas we never see isekai protagonists work for things or even fail because of the easy life usually handed to them, Re:Zero gave us Subaru, a person who not only works super hard for things, but also fails miserably until the point that he gives up and runs away. This, unlike the things we see in most in Another World anime, is relatable. People can't connect to other people's life who's essentially perfect because in reality, that's inconceivable. But what we can relate to is someone who's constantly failing and getting back up, i.e. Subaru.
お前の惚れた男が最高にかっこいいヒーローになるんだってところ
I remember I almost even cried during episode 7 when Subaru ran away from the distressed Ram after her sister had died. He ran away from everything he failed to control, failing to meet Rem's standards, failing to help Ram when she was in need, failing to be the person in that moment that Amelia believed in, and just not being able to do the right thing. This resonated with me to the point that I almost cried. Because seeing how hard Subaru tried the episodes before this to have fun and be useful in a place he wanted to be, no matter how boring or stupid, to only fail and give up, made it feel too real for me. I for one give it my all to everything at what I do in life. But sometimes that life isn't so easy. This year alone, I found myself giving up at least 3 times, taking all the hard work I put into something and giving up because I just couldn't take things anymore. There were too many problems that arise that I just couldn't fix, and each and every time it became too much to handle, I ran. I ran the same way Subaru did. I packed up and left all the things I work hard for behind because I just couldn't anymore. Which is why I connected so much with Subaru and the story Re:Zero was trying to tell. And also why I want isekai to be better. I've always loved the concept of being sent to another world. To be in someplace different, someplace free of any past problems. But I can't say I like settling for mediocre shows around the concept. I want to have cool settings, characters, stories, animation, and music that brings whatever it has to offer to life. The sad truth about those desires of mine being that the chances of getting that are slim. Next season alone, Sword Art Online is coming back, which will most likely be more of the same shit despite people saying it'll be better like the last time SAO came out. There's another completely new adaptation to Tensei Shitara Slime that I can, which just looks like it'll be another How Not to Summon a Demon Lord in that it won't be terrible, perhaps entertaining or fun, but it won't necessarily be good either. The season after that, however, one in 2019, does have something interesting in the works. Produced by Kinema Citrus, the studio behind the likes of Made in Abyss and many other great anime, with music by the great Kevin Penkin, again the guy behind the soundtrack for Made in Abyss, comes Rising of the Shield Hero. I've heard some great things about the manga and light novel, but what has me really hyped and hoping this could be the next not mediocre, but good or even great isekai anime is the combination of the studio and the guy behind its music. This combination did great things for 2017's Anime of the Year, Made in Abyss. Not only did it take and adapt its cool story, but it also elevated it in ways that only few groups of minds could do in anime. I'm hoping this combo could do the same for Shield Hero and give it the boost to help elevate this genre a bit again, though that remains to be seen. Hey, as you probably noticed by now, this video is a teensy weensy bit outdated. Back when I wrote this script, it was the summer season when How Not to Summon a Demon Lord was just airing, so at the time I didn't really have the ability to finish the video, edit it, and uploaded it for that matter. So I just kind of kicked it to the side. Ever since then, fall has passed. Tensei Shitara Slime Ken has come out. Great anime, I'd say. I turned out to be wrong about it. I'm probably gonna tackle that in a video. Winter 2019 is past. Tate no Yusha or Shield Heroes come out. I was kinda super wrong about this one, so I'm probably gonna talk about that soon too. And we're in spring of anime now. It's about to be summer. The reason I uploaded this was I wanted to get the things I wrote in the past out of me, because I thought this was a good script, so I wanted to put this together as my first video back and see how it turned out. So, and it's also a good transition for me to get into other things. So now if I want to, I can talk about how I was wrong about Slime.the how it turned out to be great, and I could talk about how I was wrong about Shield Tier and how that turned out to be kind of shit. So, yeah, expect that to come. That's all there really is to it. Hope you enjoyed the actual video part of this video. This is kind of just like a message at the end, and I hope you subscribe for more. Bye.